Do you know that one of the most common reasons for any rejection in an interview is communication skills? So whenever I speak to any hiring manager and I ask them what are the reasons that they have rejected a candidate, the most common and frequent response that I get from them is that the candidate did not impress me with his or her communication skills. In fact, even research has suggested that one of the most important and prominent reasons for any selection or rejection of a candidate is because of communication skills. Well friends, my name is Arun Thukral. I'm a life and a leadership coach, and in this video today, I'm going to tell you 7 important parts of communication that is getting evaluated during an interview. So if you are able to master those 7 important components during the interview, you can make a huge impact on this particular skill, that is communication, which defines the selection or rejection of a candidate. So if you have been rejected in the past, you, in spite of doing well in the interview, you dressed up well, you presented well, this is your best of your shot, and you still got rejected. Today, you will be knowing in greater detail what all you can do in your next interview that can help you to be more sharper, finer. And if you want to be a part of this community, then do like, share and subscribe this channel so that you get more inputs and insights on time, because I keep posting a lot of videos, 1 or 2 videos every week on this part of skill development. So whenever you go for an interview, the moment you enter inside the hall and you sit on your chair, everything is getting noticed. In fact, you are communicating right from the time you entered inside the premises of the organization where you have gone for the interview. Even if you don't speak, your body language is reflecting something. So I'm sure you can understand that your non-verbal communication is speaking even before you have uttered a single word. Now let's imagine that we go into the interview hall, we sit in front of the interviewer, and the interviewer asks you the first question. Tell me about yourself, which is the most frequently asked question, because it's like an ice-breaking question. And you start telling about yourself. Now this is the time that the interviewer is observing you. These are the first 30 seconds which are very, very crucial when the interviewer is observing you, both in terms of your body language. Are you nervous? Are you comfortable or uncomfortable? Are you confident or not confident? So initially you may not be, because the first few seconds you may take to adjust yourself, to settle down yourself. And within 2 or 3 minutes, you start getting, warmed up to understand the environment, to understand that what question has been asked. But during this 2 or 3 minutes, how you behave, how you work is going to define that what exactly you are going to do in the whole interview. Well, there are some 7 important components of that communication piece that happens during this phase. And in that first 2 or 3 minutes, a lot of time the mindset or the perception is already built about you in the mind of the interviewer. So what are those? Let's figure them out and let's understand them in more detail. So the number 1 skill set that is seen in communication is, we call it as listening. Now, if a question is asked to you and you are not paying proper attention to what the interviewer is asking, it means that you are not properly listening. Now you may say, how do you differentiate that? So that point of differentiation is, we call it as listening or hearing. So there's a huge difference. When you listen, your body language acts, you start leaning forward, you start paying attention to what is being said. On the other side, when I say hearing, it is just that you are ready with the response. Even before he has finished, you have started building the response inside you to just jump on it. So what is the best way to reflect listening? So when somebody is asking you, listen to them, take your few seconds to absorb that information. Maybe you can think for a few seconds and then respond. So that's the key difference between listening and hearing. The second important component is, we call it as confidence. Now, whatever you are speaking, whatever points that you are making in the interview, if you are not confident, if you are not firm about it, it will start reflecting your weakness, your areas where that you are not too sure about yourself. Because while somebody is interviewing you, they are trying to see that how firm, how clear and how confident you are, because in future you may have to deal many situations that may come during the job. So having that confidence is very important when you speak. The third important skill is, we call it as empathy. Empathy is nothing but listening from or understanding things from others' perspective. Now, while you are giving answers and examples or your stories relevant to the question, you may be telling about something that what happened while you were dealing with your superior, juniors, customers, seniors, and many more people that came around you. Were you empathetic in your stories during those times is what they are trying to filter out when you are speaking. And that is something they try to pick it up very fast. The fourth important skill that they look into communication is your friendliness to talk to you. Are you friendly to talk to you? Are you a person who is open? Are you a person who is able to connect people very fast, who has a smile on his face? So when people say during interview you should have a smiling face, you should be looking into the eye of the interviewer. This is nothing but they say that do you have that friendliness to talk to you? A less confident person would always look here and there, and he will shy of having the eye contact with the interviewer, and that's what troubles a lot of people when they are not confident. And particularly if there is a board, if there are 4 or 5 people sitting, and how you are speaking to them is going to make a huge difference. The next skill is respect. Now, in your responses, if you are not respectful, if you are not showing enough courage to speak to people with a lot of respect and giving attention to some people who are very senior, then definitely that gets reflected. So this can also be reflected in your examples. Now the next skill is that how clear and concise you are. If you are clear and concise, which means you are short and very simple, keep it short and simple, we call it as KISS. It clearly shows that you know what you have to speak and how you are able to communicate it in the shortest possible time. Some people drag stories. In the recent past, I have listened a lot of interviewers telling me he was going round and round and round and round in telling the most simplest and the most easiest thing. And that is where you will find a lot of people fail. And this is what you need to pay attention to. I'll be now talking about the next part of the skills, that how do you express yourself, how do you articulate, in the next part of this video. Stay tuned. Now that you have learned about what are the important components of a good communication skills during an interview, now it's time for you to practice those skills, because I'm sure without practice you will not be able to build these skills. Just by mere listening or reading these components, it may not make you a good or a skilled practitioner when you go for an interview. So to do that, you need to really practice it. Now, I will tell you what are those 3 important steps that you can do and practice the skill component that I have told you. So the number 1 point is develop listening skills. Now, how would you develop listening skills? Number 1, be present. When I say be present, means be attentive to what the speaker is saying, because in communication there are always 2 parts. One is a speaker and the other is a listener. So here your job right now is to listen, and how to do listening well is pay attention to what the speaker is saying, no matter what is happening around you. So don't do multitasking in your mind. Just focus on what the other person is saying. The number 2 component in active listening is be open. When I say be open, means take interest, genuine interest in what the other person is saying in terms of his thoughts, ideas, or the information that he is giving. Your openness and your keenness to listen to that point with interest will reflect that you are actively listening. The third point is be energetic. Your energy in the room is a proof that you are confident and you are paying attention to what the other person is saying. So your energy should never go down throughout the process. The number 2 best practice, or the best step that I can give you to develop these components of communication skill, is called as the art of articulation. How do you articulate your thoughts in a very concise, in a very simple, and in a very easy way? A lot of people have a habit of speaking fast, or some people even get nervous in the beginning. That's absolutely okay and normal to happen with anyone. But your core role is how do you assimilate yourself, how do you settle down yourself very quickly, and then bring your thoughts with a lot of clarity, with a lot of patience to the opposite side. So practice this by meeting people who are strangers, by going into situations which are unfamiliar to you. That's why a lot of people in sales, they have a practice of articulating their thoughts very effectively. So find out those reasons in your day-to-day practice. If you can do this, it will help you to develop the art of articulation. That means simplifying thoughts, putting those thoughts across to the other person in a simple and easy and a concise way. The third tip, how to communicate well in an interview, is your body language. Now this is something we also call it as non-verbal communication. Now your body language during an interview and throughout should be very positive, as we all know. But how to reflect that positivity? This positivity can only be reflected when you are confident. If you are not confident, you can't fake it. So if you are confident, you would be able to reflect a lot. But how do you reflect that confidence? Number one step is, when you walk in, have a very firm handshake. And when you have a very firm handshake, it clearly reflects in the first place that you have come prepared very well. The second important piece of your body language is look into the eye, which I have already mentioned a couple of times, because looking into the eye clearly shows that you are a confident person. The number 3 is, we call it a smile. Now, throughout the interview, if you have a smile on your face, very natural smile, not the artificial smile, over smile will not help. Only natural smile will help. These skills, you need to practice it on a day-to-day basis. This makes you more approachable, more friendly to talk to you. Well friends, I'm sure the tips that I've shared with you would really help you. Because to me, interview is all about communication. It's all about communications, because whatever you speak, whatever you don't speak will get noted down by the interview. How well you can do it is by practicing these skills. I'm sure in this video you have got some pieces of information which you feel you can try and attempt and build up. Some of the things may not be new to you, but you have got a new perspective to it, how to go about it. Practice them in your next interview and share with me that how it has really helped with you in the below comment section. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching me, and stay tuned to Coaching with AT on this YouTube channel. Thanks.